Patrick Cook here. Well, thanks for joining me in the next session. In the previous session, I navigated myself down into, I don't know, it didn't look good. And I reverted. I just went back to what I had previously saved and I just started all over again. So that's what we have right here. We're looking at a screen that I have reverted back to an earlier one. Now, we had been talking about the navigation controls. All right, slide left and right and up and down, walk forward, walk reverse, look right, left, look up and down, and roll or rotate. So, okay, so I have reloaded my project. I'm going to try again now to walk forward. I want to get really close to that graphic. I want this thing, I want to be down there virtually on the surface, and I want the details to be clear to me, and I want to be in an interesting environment. Looking at the main right here, it's too there's too much to take in. Let's walk forward. Walk. The far plane is really, really, really low. Now, this might be a good time to explain something to you here. Let me put a far plane in here of, okay, you notice it's at 339. Let me put a far plane in of, say, 5,000, okay? Now, I'm going to push that to main, view to main, calculate it. All right. All right, so 5,000. Now I'm going to pull those parameters back in, and my far plane was modified. Not by much, but sometimes that's all it takes to throw you off. So what I had done is I had taken my 5,000 far plane. Let's just try a different number. 7,500. I pushed it over to the main view. So there's my 7,500, and then I called it back up again with the parameter. Now this time it didn't change. Let's put 1,000 in there. View to main, calculate, pull it back in, didn't change. But you did witness the first time it changed. Here's where I'm going with this. I don't know what's going on inside the software, in the code, but it will periodically change the far plane. I don't know why it does that, but it's a caveat. It's a little thing going on there that will throw you off. Every time you pull your parameters from the main view, you got to look down here on this far plane, and you got to see if you're still where you're supposed to be. I usually just write it down. I'll make a little note right next to me that I like 4,000, and I'll write it down, and then I periodically check that. Now I have noticed that the field of view never changes. The positions never change. All those positions are held all up in here, and they come back over faithfully. And this zoom here, when it's an automatic, will automatically adjust itself. But I have noticed that the far plane will occasionally change without letting me know, and it throws me off. So you got to keep an eye on that far plane. All right. So anyway. Let's see if we can walk in on this fractal object. I want to get really in there. Okay, so the automatic zoom is doing its thing here. Come on. All right, every time I click the mouse, I'm walking forward by this number of steps. cut to the chase here, and I'll set the number of steps to 200. Now every time I walk in, I'm walking in 200 steps at a time. Okay, here we go, here we go, here we go. Whoa, I'm going to get that back to 20 because I'm walking in too fast here. There we go. There we go. So that was a long way out. There we go. Oh, too far. Let's back up a little bit. I'm walking back. All right, let's push this over to main so we can get a better view of what we got. Okay, interesting. All right, now I'm going to look around a bit. I'm holding down the shift key so that I don't look too fast. Let's view that to main so that we can get a little bit higher resolution. Now that's interesting. Now look at that. See, now here we're actually beginning to simulate depth. Now this is shadowing going on here. This is all part of lighting, but that's okay. You got to work on your graphic first, then your lighting, then your animation or your final rendered still. So it's not bad, not bad. Now I back into the navigator. I have a 30 field of view. A 30 field of view is going to be a little wide. Let me get that to 50. Push that to main so that I can get a higher resolution view. Okay. All right, not bad, not bad. Now, I'll tell you what. I'm kind of sort of looking down. Let me get down here even further. I'm walking. Now I'm going to slide up and I'm going to slide right. Ooh, look at that. Now that seems to indicate that we're going to have something very interesting. All right. We got some pretty serious sense of depth here. All right. Hey, let's try an experiment. Look, I'm on a standard camera. Let me switch this over to rectilinear camera. Boom. Let's see if that made a difference. Push that to main view. It didn't really make much of a difference, did it? Okay. I'll stay with standard camera. Now, I'm gonna try 90. Very interesting. Okay, so my 90, I've actually closed my field of view, narrowed it, okay, and it's starting to give me some distortion, but it's a rather interesting vantage point there. You kind of look like, you kind of feel like you're falling. All right, interesting. All right, let's poke around some more here. We're going to save this. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to save this as a parameter file, and I'm going to say O2, and I'm going to say good. That looks pretty good. All right. So there's my second save. I'm at a point where I've actually have something that I can work with. It needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of work. I've got there's too many details that are lost in all of this. It needs a lot of work. I don't know how to articulate it, but what I did is I did a save because this is a good point. This is a good interim point in the development of this project. And I want to make sure that if I lose this for whatever reason, or if I go down the wrong path, I can revert to at least this point. All right, so that's enough for this session. On the next session, we're going to continue to see if we can develop this thing. Like I say, I am still, believe it or not, trying to go back to our model. That's the graphic that I want to work with here. And as you can see, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting closer. And this tutorial series, I do not expect to be able to just hammer something out real fast and everything's all hunky-dory. All right, that's what we're doing. All right, so I'll see you in the next session.